Good evening, everybody. Right, come up to the old lake this evening, see what we can catch from here. Right, now the last time I fished this swim must have been last summer, and we had a nice tench off the back of these lilies. I think it's about 4.5 pound, I think it was, or 3.5, I can't remember now. Anyway, we had a nice tench off the back of those lilies, so that's where I'm going to be fishing again with the feeder. So what I've done, I've just baited up the back of that lily pad with some pellets. And I've also baited up just underneath this hanging tree on the island as well with a load of pellets. So I've got 2 swims baited up basically, so we can go from one to the other if we need to. But that's going to be my favourite spot, back of the lily pad, because obviously less bit of tench like hanging out. And also we had that nice old rudd here as well, which was a nice old fish. And a few carp moving about on the surface. There's one just down there. I think it's a carp anyway. Looks like it. Yeah, looks like a small carp going across there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, it's just literally 3 rod lengths out. It's going to come this way a bit. But if we get one of them, we get one. If we don't, I'm not really bothered really. I want to try and come down here so we can get a nice tench out of here. Like I said before in previous videos about this lake, when I used to fish it back in the 70s, it was absolutely brilliant lake. Loads of weed beds, lily pads. I used to love coming down there because it's only literally 10 minutes drive from my house back down there. So yeah, shame it's not like it used to be really, but there we go. You got what you got, so you got to make the most of it. So what I'm going to be doing method wise is I've got my, bring it down, method feeder on there, straight through 6 pound line on a size 14 barbless. And let's try and bring that in a bit so you can see it a bit better, wobbling around all over the place. Hang on a sec. Ooh. Yeah, there. Preston inline feeder, small one. And on there I've got a size 14 barbless hook as well. Straight through on 6 pound line. Well, 6 pound line, I've made a 6 pound trace up, put that hook on. So rod wise, Ignition carp feeder rod. Yeah, good old rod, sort of like the budget range for feeders, but we've had plenty of carp on it, tench, plenty of other fish as well. Preston reel as well, like I just said, with 6 pound line. Should be plenty good enough down here for catching tench. And last time we come down here we had a few eels as well, which are a bit of a problem, but so if we get into them, we get into them. So I brought maggots with me. Right, what we got bait wise there? Well, I've got some dead frozen maggots, which are thawed out now obviously. So I had a fishing trip the other day and I don't think I used hardly any of them, so I put them in the freezer, froze them up. And in here we have a mixture of some ground bait I had left over from another session I've done the other day. Micro pellets. I've just put some dead red maggots in there. It's got a bit of hemp in there as well. So a good old mixture of ground bait. And got some bandams, 8 mils as well. So I think last time I come down, I think I had that tench on the 6 mil bandams. But I've got some in my bag, my bait bag anyway. But obviously I've got their 8 mil ones, which were attached to, where is it? Obviously these little rubber bands. Nice and easy method to use. So yeah, so that's the methods for tonight. Just going to use the feeder rod, that's all. Yeah, we had a nice rain last night, early hours of this morning. Hopefully it's freshened it up a bit, because the weather here in England's been really humid, sticky. So even now it's like about 25 degrees, so it's pretty mild. So hopefully the fish are feeding. Right, okay, let's get everything baited up, and what I'll do 3 or 4 casts, quick succession really, just to get the bait feeder, to get the bait going in that swim. And hopefully we're getting to a tench, because the time now is spot on 7 o'clock, and here in England it gets dark just after 10 now, between 10 and half 10, so you've got plenty of time really. So hopefully that's going to be the prime time, an hour or a couple of hours before dark. Right, okay, let's get everything baited up and see what we got on this evening. Right. Right guys, what I've done, I just put a bunch of red maggots on here and a little rubber band just to stop them coming off the hook. The drawback of using maggots here, obviously it's rudd and roach in here, but there's also a lot of eels in here. And this sort of time of the evening, or later on anyway, we may end up with some. Right, let's see if we can get that somewhere about there. Looks good to me. I don't know, that's more luck than skill actually, but it went straight where I wanted to go. Perfect. Yeah, it's easier to walk on this little bit here to cast out with it. So try and cast underneath these trees. So, right, that's the first cast of the evening. Then. Let's see what happens to that. Oh. So last time I was here, we had that lovely tench out of here. Good old fight that was. Right, let's see what happens. Probably get some bites straight away with smaller fish. I don't know yet. Right, we're out. Yeah, what I've done, I've got size 14 barbless on. I put about 5 or 6 maggots on and just tipped it off. I put on these little rubber bands, stop all the maggots coming off the hook. I know they're dead, but if you get the small fish on, they're pecking at it, they pull all the bait all comes off of the maggots. So hopefully that'll stop that for now anyway. Yeah, I haven't been down here since last summer really, last time I come down here. So hopefully we'll get into a tench maybe, which would be nice. Because really this is about the only lily pads left on this lake now. It's a shame really, because like as I said, years ago it was just like weed, it would be like weed beds here. You could just fish in between the weed beds. Back then it's sort of like float fishing really. It's none of this feeder fishing. It's all like floats right along the edge of the weed. Sweet corn or bread used to be really good back then as well. You know, you never had your boilies or anything like that back then. It was either sweet corn, bread, maggots. That's sort of the in baits really back then. But might they still work now? I don't know about bread in here, but you never know. Right, good. Anyway, we've got the feeder back out. I'll give it a few minutes, then I'll probably recast, just trying to keep building up the swim for the next hour. Just get a bit of bait round, then hopefully we'll draw some tench out of that weed. Right, fingers crossed. Just had my first bite there, guys. And what we got here. Ooh, got a nice little rud. I'll get them in it. Just a bit too big to lift, I reckon. Oh, not bad. It's a rud, right, you can't see it at the minute. Nice little rud. The old banded pellet. Yeah, nice one. Right, let's get the old disgorger and get the hook out of that fish. Put the glasses on, see what I'm doing here. Oh, come here. Yeah, nice fish. Nice condition anyway. Disappearing in the lake. Oh, good old boy too. Bang, bang, and then just slack. There you go, guys. Nice little fish, isn't it? Hope you can see that there. Cracking. Right, at least we ain't blanked anyway, that's something. Right, let's get that back. Yeah, it's on a banded, well, I'll say banded maggots. A bunch of maggots with a little band behind it, lock them all in place. Oh, there you go, fella. Nice one. Right, we're up and running now. Right, let's get that baited up. Get it back out again. What have I done with it? It's gone to over there now. Oh, there it is. I'll put it on there. Yeah, lovely evening. Just hope the old tench are on the feed later on. See, the evening goes on a bit. I think I can actually see what I'm doing here. Just hoping this camera's working, it keeps playing up. So all I'm doing is just putting a bunch of red maggot on here. Hopefully you can see that from there. I thought I would have had a lot more fish pestering me really, like rudd. Well, I might jinx myself now saying that, but obviously tench like red maggot. So hopefully the little ones will stay away. Maybe they might stand a chance of getting a tench. All I do is put that little rubber band on there, just to hold the maggots on, just stop them coming off really, that's all. Right, let's get this. In the feeder. You can see that what I'm doing is just dropping the maggots into the method feeder there. Well, not method feeder, but the actual thing you put the method feeder into. Little pellets in there, so I've got a mixture of hemp in there, maggots, all different sized pellets from the other session I've done last week. Sorry about the traffic noise, but there's a main road just there, so you get a load of noisy motorbikes going up and down. Right, pop that out. There you go. So the maggots, obviously when the fish come there, they're pecking out that. First thing they peck would be the maggots on the top with the hook in, hopefully. Right, let's get this out by those these lilies again. I've been lucky with my cast so far, so hopefully I can carry on being lucky as well. Ooh. Right, see what happens to that then. Well, we're up and running now. We've got a nice little rod there to start the session off. Great stuff. Right, let's get this back out again. So we're a good hour in now, and the maggots pretty much come back untouched, which is good really. So I'd like to get a tench on the old maggots if I can. Because people, you know, catch all these bigger tench on maggots, don't they? I suppose more of a natural bait. We'll see how we get on. If not, we can always go over to the bandom. There's loads of little fish out there, I can see them. Oh, I don't know, I think I might have disturbed some of them. Absolutely big load of bubbles come up. Blimey. I don't know if there was a carp laying there, a pike or what it was. You won't be able to see it on that camera. Big load, yeah. Loads of little fry jumping about. I reckon there was a pike there, I reckon. Those little fry after the ground bait coming off the method feeder. Probably landed right on his head, woke him up, I reckon. I've had that problem here before. Still a few bubbles there now, so I don't know. Oh well, it's a little bit short of where I wanted it really, that was. But that'll do for now. Just keep building that swim up for a bit. Hopefully attract a tench maybe out of that weed. Because you've got the weed just there, then beyond that's a willow tree that's fallen into the lake as well. So you've got two lots of cover for fish to hide up. And obviously as soon as the evening starts coming, then they start venturing out of that cover hunting for food. Well, that's the theory anyway, but you never know with fishing, do you? So that's the only bit of cover on this lake really. You know, you go down there, it's all open. There's no weed beds, no lilies, nothing. So there's no structure there at all. It's pretty shallow in this lake. and it's really silty. There's lots of branches and bits all on the bottom. Yeah, it's nowhere near as good as it used to be when I used to fish this place. Yeah, because obviously I remember like back in the late 70s, originally, we was only kids, we were still at school then. You know, like I just said, there was loads of lilies down there, loads of weed bed. You come down and catch some lovely tench. Loads and loads of rudd. There used to be crucian carp in here, loads of perch. Yeah, it's a nice little venue because I was only 10 minutes drive from my house. Just come up here all the time, night fish here and everything. And I sort of went away from this club for quite a few years. Me and my son sort of joined it back. I think it must have been the late 90s or something like that. We come up here, and the weed was still here then. Plenty of lilies and weed here. That was still good fishing then. Then I left the club again and went off and joined another club. And sort of in a period of like 5 years, coming back, it was just all the weed had gone. There was nothing left there at all. When I pulled up here in the car park and walked across, I thought, I couldn't believe it. It didn't even seem like the same lake. Totally ruined. I don't know what happened to all the weed, but you know, I couldn't believe it. Shame, really. So you sort of remember it as it was, you know, when I come in first in the 70s and again in the 90s, and come back in the mid 2000s, and it's completely changed. Really strange. Well, there we go. That's the way it is. The trouble is the club don't own this lake, so I think they're a bit reluctant to spend money on it, which is fair enough, I suppose. Obviously, they've got lakes that they actually own, so they spend their time and money on that, which is makes sense, really, doesn't it? That's what you're going to do, and you're not going to spend money on a lake like this, and it don't belong to you. And you might lose the lease on it. Somehow, somebody else benefits from it. So that's why it's like it is, I think. Right, come on, you tench. Don't know what's happened here, guys. They're winding in. Now I've got a fish on the end. I don't know if the pike's grabbed all of this feeder. We've got. Ooh, it's woken up now. Whatever it is. What is it? I think a pike, you know, has grabbed that on the way in. Are we going to get it in? Whoa, just in its jaws. Ah! That was close. Wow, you probably just saw it there. It's only about 3 or 4 pound, if that. When I was winding it in, next thing I see a big great swirl, and obviously it grabbed the back as it was coming in. Well, that's a shame. We nearly had it in the net then. To be honest with you, I didn't think we was going to get it that far. That's a bit of a shame, isn't it? So, just to prove that there are pike in here. Well, you saw it there anyway, just about. Yeah, I'll just see the maggot on the front of it, just in there, just in the front of its lip. So obviously, I was winding it in, it grabbed it on the way in. Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? Nearly had it as well. What a shame. Right, okay. Because what I was going to do now, I was bringing it in. I was going to put a bandom on there now, and because it's getting that time of evening now, another good hour and a bit left just before it gets dark. So hopefully it's come out to prime time now for the old tench to come out. Oh, what a shame, eh? Just there, just nearly had it in the net landing net. Oh well, never mind. Something different, isn't it? Right, okay, I've gone over to a 8mm bandom now. It's a bit annoying about that pike, wasn't it? God, just so close to getting it in the net as well. Never mind. Right, let's get this over here now. Set it out for a tench now. Right everyone, the old light's going to be gone soon, so I thought end the video here before it gets too dark and I can't film. Yeah, that nearly had that pike in, unbelievable. That would have been nice to get that in the net, just that far away from the net. So I can just see the hook just inside its, in front of its lip there, on its lip. Obviously if it had taken any further down it just would have cut straight through the line anyway, so he never got it in. But oh well, that's close, wasn't it? Never mind. Right, yeah, time's getting on a bit now. It's going to be dark within the next half an hour. Obviously still prime time really, so anything could happen. So but if it does, then I'll tag it onto the end of this video, and if it doesn't, then you know we didn't catch a tench or a carp. But that's just nice to come down there really. So every time I come it's like a bit of a trip down memory lane for me. A few memories, sort of sit here, sort of think about what you used to do, family. Just come down here on a little family and that, you know, do a bit of fishing and the old mates and stuff. Yeah, it's good. So yeah, it's just nice to come down here really. Trip down memory lane. Right, can I just say a big thank you to all the new subscribers. I've had one or two the last few weeks, so I'd like to say cheers for that and welcome, and thanks a lot for all the comments and thumbs up. I haven't done a lot of shooting just lately. I sort of like haven't had the time really, so hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'm going to go back up to the woods where we put the squirrel feeders up, because I haven't been up there now for must be a good couple of weeks. No, not couple of weeks, good couple of months really. So we'll have a walk up there and the old air rifle and have a wander around, check those feeders, see if anything's been in them. So we've had plenty of time to find them now, so hopefully they have. And if they have, I'm going to top them back up, and then we'll go out there and have a go at the squirrels, see if we can shoot a few of them, I reckon. It's been a while. Right, okay then everybody, what I'll do, I'll knock this one on the head for now, but like I just said, if I do catch anything, then I'll tag it on the end of this video. Right, okay guys, cheers for watching, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one.